Hey guys, we are live. What is going on out there this morning? If you're catching us live on another episode of 7 Around 7, Brent Abel here, webtennis.com. And look, we got a couple things going on today. Number one, I want to chat about the doubles return to serve, especially that inside out backhand if you're a righty from the deuce court. And the same applies if you're a lefty from the ad court as well. Technically, a little bit of a challenge, right? To be able to confidently play that thing back cross court in front of your partner, getting it down to a serve and volleyer, or maybe a guy who's staying back in the baseline, but really wanting to make sure that you feel confident with this shot in terms of does that server have an active net partner up there dancing around trying to make your life misery, right? So we're to get into that. Your thing today is I do have, speaking of returning serve in doubles versus an active server's partner, I unveiled a brand new mini course this morning for you that we will talk about right after we get on the inside out backhand. But great course. One of the bonuses, one of the free gifts in there that I bundled is on this inside out backhand. Couple of technique tweaks that we really got to make sure that you do that are slightly different than just a normal, like if you're playing on the ad side and you're getting a backhand, a little bit different than that. So with that said, let us get into it. And here we go. Get up in here. Get a little sound going. So, yeah, this is kind of an issue, right? The guy serves either to the tee, and sometimes to the tee, it's so wide that you can't drive it. But, really what I do in this situation, if they really serve down the tee and I get stretched out, I'm really thinking more of just a lob, just trying to get the thing up and high and deep and buy some time to recover. But in this one here, it's a little bit in, right? But it's still a backhand, and I've decided to drive it. And look, technically, what can I tell you other than you've got to exaggerate the shoulder turn? One of the things that you're going to find in this course is, how do you prep for your return to serve so that you really make it, number one, you make it clean, you make it simple, but you can show some disguise, right? So from right here, that returner's partner is not sure, right? Whether I'm going back cross court, whether I'm going to drive it at him, or look, what's to say that I couldn't chip a little lob, over him? I certainly could. And, here's another thing that I like to play. If I've got a server's partner who actually plays kind of deep in their service box, from time to time, what I like to do is show them a little chip down low, play it like an approach, and it's slow, it's slow. It gives me time to move in. And they're just kind of dealing with that thing, waiting for the thing to either where they're going to have to lunge forward and volley it, or they're going to, have to really do something pretty tricky with that volley, keeping it away from my partner, but also know that I'm moving forward. But in this one here, look, it's just a drive, and you got to commit, right? You got to commit to the finish, to getting through it. And there you have it. We got another one here coming up that is the same thinking on it, which is this one's actually more in the middle of the service box. And for whatever reason, I've chosen to play a slice backhand here, right? Not to run around and play a forehand. And I think the reason is I feel like on this one here, if I go forehand, it pulls me too much over to this part of the court. And if this guy is on the move, now all of this is wide open. So look, the thinking here is, all right, you've got an active service partner. Which return can you choose that at least keeps you into some decent part of the court that you could recover to, right? And here you go. So, and look, let's, you've got an active service partner. These last 2 points basically are later in the match, and I've shown him enough different types of returns to serve at that point to keep him quiet. But look, if there's a service partner who loves to move, who loves to poach, it's just not off of the return when they're going to go, right? They still have that hankering to go sometimes after the return, and you got to make them pay for that movement. And in this course that I've got for you, one of the parts of it's actually an upgrade, but it really shows you um, how to handle that active player after that return is served. So, guys, look, here's what I've got for you in this brand new course. And I did a survey over the last, I'm not going to call it a week, I'd say 5 to 6 days. And I asked players, it must have been over 100 different responses. And players, I asked them one question. What's your big challenge when you're returning serve in doubles? And far and away, the most common response was, "How do I keep it away?" From that server's partner. And there's lots of different ways that players think about it, but I would say that the most common phrase in there was "keep away." And so, and look, I know the feeling. I mean, I deal with a lot of active servers partners, and whether it's fake poaching, whether it's an actual poach, whether it's an early fake that looks like an early fake, they come back and then they poach. It's taken me a while to figure out, well, how do I flip the picture so that I can be in control and not be worrying about them, actually being proactive to, as I'm calling it in this course, putting the old ball and chain on that person. So they're stuck. They're going to stay put. I want to freeze that player there. And it may be against an unknown player. I've never seen this player before, so I'm just not going to assume that they're not an active service partner. I'm going to assume that they want to be moving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show them basically 3 different shots off my return early in the match. If nothing else, even if I only win half of those points, I'm going to show them a few different returns because I want in their mind thinking it's always a possibility. Because the best return for me is what we've always talked about with return to serve and doubles is your job as the returner is to engage your partner, right? Your job is to either put the ball in front of your partner where you go cross court. Maybe it's a lob and you get a short a lob return off of that, or I should say reply, which helps your partner in terms of an overhead. Or maybe off that lob they try to drive it and your partner sort of pinched in the middle and they get an easy volley. Or maybe you drive it right at that service partner, not trying to thread the needle up the line into the alley, but go right at that service partner. And guess what? You might get an easy volley or an easy ball that they can clean up with. So my intention with the return is always to try to engage my partner in one way or the other. And so how do you do that? Well, I just described there's 3 ways right there. But you've got to make sure that you really get that active service partner to settle down and to respect the fact that they got to cover more than just a cross court return at any given time. And so look, here's what I've done in this, and it's really kind of a mini course, right? It's not a bloated 90-minute blah, blah, blah type of thing where you got to wade through it and try to figure out, what are the actionable things that you can actually do. I've broken this down into 4 sections. Number 1, the mindset. We got to flip your picture in terms of them not being in charge, but you being in charge. And mentally, there's a couple things that you actually got to work on to be able to make that happen. The second part there are 3 technique secrets in the return to serve. Got to happen, right? And if they don't happen, then what you're going to find is that number 1, you don't have confidence. But number 2 is that depending on the type of incoming serve that you're presented with, you're not going to make the right choice in terms of return choice. And then I got to give you a practice plan. It's really a two-step practice plan. Number one, how do we consciously work on mindset? And that maybe I don't like the little word. How do we consciously work on mindset? Well, we got to do that because of step number two in the practice plan. But first of all, consciously work on mindset, consciously work on those three technique secrets, and then consciously work on those three tactics in a practice arena. And then how do we take all of that high quality practice and transfer it over to the match, where the last thing you want to do is be consciously trying to manufacture this stuff in a match. I think because we all know that when we do that, we just kind of get stuck. We get in our way. There's too much thinking going on, too many swing thoughts. And we got to trust that the practice that we've done has shoved it into our subconscious. And if we get out of our way, if we allow our subconscious to actually manufacture technique, that all we got to do is one thing, just one thing in a match. And I'm going to show you what that one thing is in practice step number two. I've got two bonus courses that I've wrapped up into this offer. And by the way, the offer is good until this Monday. What is that? Monday, August 2nd at 11:59 p.m. Pacific. Not only is the price discounted because it's a brand new course, but two free gifts, right? Number one is going to be this inside out backhand return to serve course, mostly focused on technique. A couple little tweaks that we got to make on this, whether you're a right-handed player from the deuce court or you're a left-handed player from the ad court. And what I've done in this course is given you two videos, if you're a righty and if you're a lefty. I've just flipped the video for the lefties so that you can see it as a lefty rather than, hey man, well, if you're a lefty, just reverse it in your mind. It's a little tough to do. And then bonus number two is the out wide serve, right? How do you handle when you're in the deuce court and the ad court and the ad court and the server takes you out wide? You know, what are your shot choices from out there? For me, my experiences show me there are really two shot choices that are safe, that actually work, and that allow me to maintain good court positioning after they've taken me out wide. So that's that second bonus course in there. So guys, there's a link down below that will take you to more details. And if you want to get enrolled, you can do that there as well. So that's it for me today. Guys, look, any comments, any questions down below in the comments area, let me know. Certainly, you can always shoot me an email, brent@webtennis.com. And until next time, which is going to be tomorrow morning, guys, let's all get out there. Let's help someone else have a spectacular day. Guys, I'll talk to you then.